It began in Kind-ergarten. I was 3 feet tall, decked in pink from head to toe, had a Barbie doll in my hand, and I was ready to take on the world. I stepped out of the bus and my mouth dropped. It was my first day at the marvelous Hubbard Elementary School. I know, you laugh, but back in the day it looked massive. Do you remember the first lesson you learned in kindergarten? No, seriously, think about it. Did you think of the ABCs? How to count to 10? Good, both valid responses. How many of you thought about being kind to others? Maybe a few of you. Hello, I'm Danyella Kaplan, and I kind of like being kind to people. And puns. Being kind is one of the most basic lessons we have ever been taught, yet is frequently forgotten. In my years of high school, I have memorized the quadratic formula, written thousands of essays, taught myself an entire unit overnight. I'm sure many of you have done the same. We are capable of completing such complex tasks. We are intelligent. So why is being a genuinely kind person so difficult for us? Let me break it down for you. To be a kind person, you have to be authentic whilst also being accepting. Now, let's be real. As humans, we are judgmental. It is in our nature. We see something and we immediately make a negative assumption or joke about it. We may be authentic, but we are not accepting. We give someone a compliment that we don't truly mean. We are expressing acceptance, but we are not being authentic. How do we find a balance? Well, here's a novel idea. Don't make assumptions about people. Why would you waste your time attempting to configure what a person is like when you can take 10 seconds to talk to them and figure out both their name and their favorite ice cream flavor? It's that simple. Most unkind deeds root from ignorance. I cannot tell you how many friends I have lost from a fantasy throughout my life. Allow me to elaborate. I lost one friend because they compiled bits and pieces of information that they knew about me and came up with an ultimate conclusion that was far from the truth. What their intention of spreading such information was, I couldn't tell you. But what I could tell you is that an assumption was made, a friend was lost, and an apology was never granted. This experience took a toll on my trust in people and made me question what I did to deserve this. A lie should never hit so hard that a person who did absolutely nothing wrong begins to question themselves. I challenge you all to take initiative to understand something or someone better before making immediate assumptions, for it is important that we consider what is more important, receiving attention or maintaining meaningful friendships. I do not claim to be an icon for kindness. Nobody is. I too have made mistakes that have hurt others, and I take ownership for that. But there is one person that I would like to address and apologize to right here, right now. A person who I have been unkind to on several occasions for little reason. That person is myself. For years, I have told myself that I would never be smart enough to get into college, would never be pretty enough to get married, would never be talented enough to get a job. Now, are any of these feelings factual? No. They are all assumptions and predictions that I had convinced myself were truthful. Unkindness has a way of getting to us like that. We try so hard to be that smart student that everyone comes to for help on their assignments. We try so hard to be that beautiful person that everyone looks at and says, wow, I wish I looked just like that. We try so hard to feel superior at something. In society, there is so much competition that we forget who we are and what our purpose is. We're too busy trying to fulfill society's dreams that we forget to fulfill our own. Comparing ourselves to others distorts reality, and as we discussed earlier, authenticity is the basis of kindness. It is time to appreciate ourselves for who we are and not who society wants us to be. Being kind is rewarding to more than just the receiver. I remember in sophomore year, the oh-so-dramatic squirt I was and am. I failed a biology test that I had stayed up all night studying for. I was devastated and decided to mope alone in my room to cope. When this backfired, I thought of an idea. In a world full of disappointment and failure, there are amazing people who have guided me through my darkest times. I decided to send individual text messages to my friends with a random kind message, complimenting and thanking them for being there and for being a part of my life. The responses were so grateful and wonderful that I nearly forgot what I was upset about in the first place. A quick and simple random act of kindness can go such a long way in making not only someone else's day, but in bettering yours too. Walking through the hallways and see the cutest outfit? Tell them they're killing it. Having a conversation with someone who has the nicest smile? Acknowledge it. Always love someone's overall attitude in life? Let them know. It's only a blimp of your life that can be so rewarding in every way. By spreading random acts of kindness, we can little by little make the world a better place. I'm not perfect. I'm far from it. But I know who I am, and I know my purpose. And if you don't know yet, that's okay. I've been there, trust me. These 4 years of high school have been the absolute most challenging years of my life. But I can genuinely say that through all of my failures, my hard days, my crippling exhaustion, I know who I am. Unkind people, including myself, have made me question myself. But now, I can stand before you and say that I am a kind person, and we all can be. In the wise words of the girl who doesn't even go here, I wish we could all get along like we used to in middle school. I wish I could bake a cake filled with rainbows and smiles and everyone would eat it and be happy. I'm afraid I cannot take this on because there may be some allergy issues to be aware of. But I am certain that once we overcome our expectations of others, stop competing with one another, and commit random acts of kindness, we can all be a part of a pivotal movement that society always needed. There are so many horrific things happening in this world because people are so unkind. Though I stand before the most minuscule bit of the world's population, I believe that we, at BHS, can be the change if we are simply kind. It began in kindergarten. We learned so many things throughout 12 years of schooling, but the truly most important lesson was taught to us when we were still jamming to Barney and Friends. If we could ace this subject back then, at this point, it'll only be review. It's that simple to make the world a better place. Now go out and put those ABCs to good use. Thank you.